What's going on? This is TJ Murphy, and welcome to another episode of Adventurous Entrepreneurs. Super excited for this one. My guest today is my friend Justin Coates. Artificial intelligence has exploded on the scene, and it's here to stay. And in today's rapidly evolving job landscape, AI mastery isn't just an advantage, it's a necessity. Whether you're a business owner, middle manager, aspiring entrepreneur, or simply someone eager to stay ahead, this episode is for you. Justin is a seasoned CEO with over 10 years of experience in e-commerce and startups. He's helped over 150 different companies across many industries scale, grow, and integrate new technologies to ensure a competitive advantage. He's recognized for his analytical acumen and has delivered hundreds of hours of specialized training sessions with individuals and small to medium-sized groups, mastering the art of AI integration for business solutions that results in teams completing projects weeks ahead of their deadlines, or in some cases, even months before they would normally have completed that project. Just a few of the golden takeaways Justin shares in this episode are insights on virtual team building, workflow optimization, and staying ahead in the rapidly evolving AI landscape, leveraging AI for competitive advantage, and strategies for seamless integration. So, do not sleep. We've got a really exciting episode here. We even share screen. So if you're listening to the audio on this one, pop on over to YouTube. We dive into ChatGPT in real time and show some really awesome stuff that'll help you integrate AI into your workflows and create a whole lot more automation, time saving, and powerful stuff in everything that you do for work. So without further ado, this is me and my buddy, Justin Coates. Welcome to the Adventurous Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host, TJ Murphy. Since quitting my corporate 9-to-5 and starting a business while backpacking through Asia back in early 2017, I've had the privilege of learning from some incredibly adventurous entrepreneurs. Through these conversations and my own journey, I've learned that much like in life, entrepreneurship is an adventure. On this podcast, I explore the journeys of top-performing leaders in their fields. These wide-ranging conversations include tactical business advice, how I built this insights, lessons in leadership, life hacks, travel stories, favorite hobbies, and insights into living a purposeful and joy-filled life. Adventures await us, so let's dive in. Hey, Justin, welcome back to Adventurous Entrepreneurs.
Hey, TJ, thanks for having me. It's great to come back and really excited to jump in and talk about AI and ChatGPT. This is going to be really fun.
Yeah, me too, man. This is great because I'm really just scratching my own itch here. Like, I want to learn from you, and I know the questions that I have about AI, other people are going to have. So we're going to just jump right into the good stuff today. And, really for the past couple of years, you have been deep, deep into the world of AI and specifically learning how to integrate it into business workflows using the various tools that are out there, primarily ChatGPT, which will be doing some screen sharing and looking at some stuff live today, which I'm pumped on. So this conversation is going to be all about how to work smarter, not harder, and really stay ahead of the curve in terms of utilizing AI, at least for now. It's always going to rapidly change. So how can we scale our businesses and stay on top of things using these tools that are out there? Anything you'd add to that, my friend?
Yeah, I would say it's less about working smarter than harder and more about changing how you work, changing your perspective on your work routine. That's probably one of the biggest mind hurdles to get over when adopting AI tools is how do I work with it now? When do I incorporate it in my process, in my job, in my task, or my day? That's really been, in my training sessions, that's kind of a hidden thing that I'm sussing out, that I'm really feeling out, is a lot of people just don't know when to incorporate it. So, excited to kind of touch on that topic.
No, that's a great point. And I think for starters, let's give people a taste of what's possible when you learn how to leverage and integrate AI
Oh
in
man.
your everyday life. So can you give us a couple examples of either just some unexpected or extremely high value ways that you've used AI for starters in your business or for your clients' businesses?
Yeah, totally. So I think my first real like mind-blowing moment was last March. And I know that we might touch on the changes of AI or LLMs and what we currently are calling new age artificial intelligence. And um we'll touch on the advancements of it, but last March with ChatGPT, we just had the free version. We had 3.5. We didn't have Dolly. We didn't have advanced data analysis. We didn't have plugins. We didn't have browsing capabilities. We had 3.5. And my biggest breakthrough moment that I had with 3.5, where I mean, I was already bought in when OpenAI released 3.5 to the public in November. Like I was already bought in, but this moment was like took me to the next level. Was that like holy shit moment? I one of my clients is a acupuncturist and has their own facility. So like human to human business. But we all know in business we have marketing needs, we have tasks and projects that require technology, require computers, that less human interaction. And she reached out to me and she said, "Hey, I created this new product. It's a seasonal allergy relief. It's a mushroom and herbal blend complex for natural ingredients for seasonal allergy relief. What do I name it?" And that was her only question, was what do I name it? And so I went to ChatGPT because I was just enamored by it the whole time, since November. And I went to ChatGPT and I gave it a 2 sentence description of her and her business and a 2 sentence description of the product, and started with, what do we name it? Was the question. And we got some pretty cool names. And I can't really remember them right now, but we got some pretty cool names. And I said, well, what if we go one more layer? And, just a side note on that, if you're already using ChatGPT and you don't like its response, tell it what you don't like and then hit enter and go one more layer deeper, and you'll have a different answer, a better answer, a changed answer. But just go one more layer. Don't be afraid to iterate.
Up on it
Yeah,
after. Yeah.
it's a machine. Like it doesn't care if it does it 1,000 times. So it's not like a human. It's not going to get annoyed when you say go redo that.
I could be offended that you don't like its work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, totally. Like it won't at all. And so I went one more layer, and I continued that, going one more layer for the next hour and a half. But by the end of that hour and a half, I had a name for the product, a go-to-market strategy, a branding guidelines, like a brand book, 4 renderings of packaging, color, design. I had a marketing plan and strategy. I had a marketing calendar all planned out, like set up. And all of this stuff, like I just listed so many things. All of those things typically, and this in marketing, sorry, TJ, but all of those things that I did in an hour and a half would have been months of meetings back and forth with a marketing agency, back and forth on iterations and redesign changes, and the marketing team saying, "Sorry, you only get 3 revisions on this one," right?
Yep. 100%.
And thousands of dollars, right? My background is 10 years in e-commerce, helping brands integrate technologies and Amazon as a sales channel to grow their company. So I know the value in what that did. And that was my like mind-blowing moment, was holy cow. I just in an hour and a half just got a brand book, a go-to-market plan, go-to-market strategy, a name, uh, renderings of an image. And this was in March, before Mid-Journey or Dolly or Stable Diffusion all had the capabilities that they have now. And I was piecemealing things, but now we have multimodal capabilities in ChatGPT. Mid-Journey version 6 just came out, which is insane. Um, like
Quick note there for
it's
people that may
crazy.
not be familiar with what Midjourney and Dolly and these other tools are. These are all image generators, which now ChatGPT has it. Is it just Dolly or is Midjourney integrated into
No,
it?
just Dolly 3.
Dolly 3 is directly integrated into ChatGPT 4, so you can create these types of images directly in your ChatGPT thread, which is pretty cool.
It's
I'm
fun.
just starting to play around with it. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So yeah, they're text to image generators. Yeah, thanks for that clarification. Um, but yeah, I mean that was my huge like mind-blowing moment of this is incredible. The power that I just had at my fingertips is I saved 3 months of back and forth with a marketing agency and I got everything they would have given me without paying them $15,000 and 3 months of my time.
Yep. I'm going through a very similar process using GPT right now to help me with a new podcast concept. So teasing that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, similar, like everything from the name to the show description, the audience, the branding that I want to create around it, some initial mock-ups of like the show art, my go-to-market strategy, like everything was done in probably an hour. And
Hmm.
98% of the way there, like super happy with the foundation that I had. And that stuff would have previously taken me hours, if not, days to think through and been stressing over. Honestly, it's not
Oh,
the most fun thing to be in the weeds and documenting all that stuff. But when you can just brain vomit into a machine,
yeah, dude.
have it take all that great information and turn it into something tangible that you can then hand off to your team, whew, it's just a beautiful thing.
Yes, and I mean, I don't want to, interject into your question flow here, but you just said a couple things that I kind of want to call out. One for you and two for the listeners.
Mhm.
Are you said it would take you, hours or days to think about all of that stuff. That's not creating that stuff. That's just
Yeah,
thinking about it. So not only,
ideating.
yeah, right? Like you just saved so much time about thinking through it just by brain dumping. So not only did you save time on thinking it, but while you were thinking it and telling ChatGPT about it, it got created. So not only did you just save that time, those days or weeks of thinking about how to execute and what it really means, you now just got all of it created. So now those weeks or months that it would have turned into were hours.
Yeah. And it was a cool process too, because that's something that it's a great thing to do with another human being, to have them question your line of thinking and keep going one layer deeper and deeper and deeper. And ideally you still do that and use GPT as well. But if you don't have someone to, kind of bounce back and forth with, asking GPT to give you that line of questioning and
Yeah.
keep going deeper and deeper and deeper until you reach the lowest level where you have a great idea and you have something that's a viable product. Man, it's such a cool thing to be able to do. A lot of typing, but hey,
Yeah.
maybe
Look, I mean,
maybe we'll be able to talk to it and have voice to text integrated
well,
into it.
in the on the mobile version
You
you can
can.
absolutely do that, yeah. And if you have like a microphone button, or I know on Apple computers, MacBooks, there's a microphone button that allows you to speak, and if you mess with your accessibility settings, you can turn on text to speech on your computer, and now you have text to speech, so you don't really have to type. So for anybody, if you're not good at typing, you missed that class in high school or whatever, you're good to go. Like you're not left behind.
It's good for me because I'm like a two finger typer and
Oh, are you?
not
Oh no.
fast, but yeah, it's not pretty to watch for sure. So
Yeah. I actually, so I'm into gaming too, but I love typing, and I have a mechanical keyboard and it's loud, man. When you hear me typing, it's like a typewriter, but like super fast.
it's nice.
Uh,
Well, man, everything is changing so rapidly in the world of AI right now. It seems like ChatGPT is rolling out new features every couple of weeks. Microsoft just launched its own AI assisted tools within Microsoft Word, PowerPoint,
mhm.
suite of products there. I think that was just this week or last week. And then you've got other tools on the map like Bard and Claude and some of the text to image generators that we talked about. What are you keeping your eye on?
Ugh.
And what are some of the most exciting things that have happened in the last few weeks or months that relate to how you and business owners can leverage AI?
Yeah, man. That's a really big question because there's a lot happening. And we just had CES like what, a week and a half ago, which was crazy.
What's
We're
let's see, yes, for everybody.
uh yeah, Consumer Electronics Show. It's where all the electronic companies or tech companies, product or service or otherwise, just go to show off all their cool stuff. And man, VR headsets. I mean, we have Meta's Quest 3, we have Apple Vision Pro, we have a couple others coming out that are similar. Um, there was a product called Rabbit, which is like it's like a cell phone without a screen, right? And there's a microphone, there's a 360 camera on it, and it'll talk to you. You could talk to it. It'll take pictures, video, and you just kind of carry it with you. It connects to your phone, and it's built off of GPT-4 uh, system. So, like, we have products that are coming out that are being built on, like, their base operating system is being built on these GPT AI models, large language models. um, so we have products coming out, and we have new software coming out. We have new updates for the things that we've been using. So there's a lot going on. um, and really where I focus, my main expertise lies in chat GPT. And so a lot of the updates there, a couple weeks ago we just got the GPT store. So for those of you that are staying in the GPT world, you can go create your own fine-tuned custom GPT. So chat GPT is huge. It's its entire data set, 1.75 trillion data points. But what you can do is you can narrow that down with some fine tuning, so it's only looking through one angle, one lens, and really get high value content created, whatever that content is, using these custom GPTs. So that's huge. Then we have OpenAI dropped Teams capability, which now, as a small business, instead of being enterprise or paying enterprise prices, now you can have a team. And it will eventually, you'll get ability to collaborate, you'll get organizational abilities, easy share with teammates. But what it does now is it gives you more chats per 3 hours. It's 100 instead of 40. Your data is protected. They don't use any of your data to train the model. So you kind of have one layer removed from the main GPT model. And then you also get features earlier than everyone else. And so
Mm,
you'll get these new features before everyone else. And then, I mean, we had Google Gemini get dropped like 3 weeks ago. That's their GPT, that's their AI model that's going to be built into their phones.
mhm.
Um, so it's like, is where do you where do you go? There's just a lot of tools and rapid change and updates happening. Um, and so, for me, I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to, the question I'm thinking about is like, well, what tool and when and why, right? And for me, ChatGPT can pretty much do everything any other tool can. But if you start to specialize, so that's like, if that's being general or one position, but if you start to specialize, like becoming an AI artist, text to image artist, then I think Mid-Journey right now is pulling ahead. Its image capabilities are incredible. It's so amazing what it can come up with and what people are creating with it. Um, that works really well. I use Google Bard for like itinerary planning or trip planning. As an adventurous entrepreneur, if you're planning trips, I use Google Bard because it's connected to Google Flights. It can get that information. It can get information on hotels. It can get, and the phrase I like to use is put it in table format because that's easy for me to read and understand. And then if you want to compare one to another, it's easy to compare. Um, and so I use the words put it in table format a lot. Um,
I love that. I've never,
yeah,
yeah, I didn't even think about using it for trip planning, but that's brilliant. I got to do that on my next. Well, actually,
yeah,
my wife's parents always ask for help when they're like planning out their trips, and I've just defaulted to going through and helping them plan the whole thing out. So now I'm going to try that, and then hopefully I can even teach
yeah.
them how to use it themselves and make
Oh,
everybody save a bunch of time.
right. Yeah, that's great. And then you can just really cleanly see what's going on and have it build an itinerary for you. And if you're well traveled and know how to travel, use that to your advantage. Tell it your process. Tell it all of the things that you take into consideration when you're planning a trip, and it is going to be your perfect assistant.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, you've already shared kind of what works best in terms of applications for specific processes. One question that I had in that realm is in terms of content creation specifically, whether you're trying to create blog content or SEO content or content for your social media or anything like that, would you say ChatGPT is the better tool or using something like Bard or Claude?
Um, Claude is they're a little bit slower on the data training, and I've talked to a few people. They like Claude. It seems to be a little bit easier interface. Um, and it's trained on less data, so you're not drinking from as big of a cup, so you don't have to fine tune it as much. But my default is GPT, is OpenAI and Chat GPT. And so much so that a few of the newsletters that I subscribe to will bring me tools. They give me a list of tools. Here's 5 tools for this week or today or whatever, and I'll go check them out. And I'll really like read about the company and what they want to do with their tool. And I'll say, I can do this with ChatGPT. It just might take me 30 minutes to an hour to fine tune it to get it to do that. But once I fine tune it, then I'm off to the races, right? So there are a lot of tools out there that you can emulate and get almost an exact replica in ChatGPT without any development, without any software programming, like anything like that. Just tell it what you want and talk to it and go one more layer, and eventually you'll get your output, your desired result.
Well, I've found in all things, but definitely in the world of AI, like the best way to learn how to use these tools is to actually start playing around with them. So if
Mm,
you're game for it, let's create a relevant business application that we can use as an example and actually walk through how to use ChatGPT in real time. And I'll share my screen and we
yeah,
can
let's
just
do it.
go through it and build it.
Yeah,
Cool,
this
man.
is, this is gonna be awesome.
What about, and we talked a little bit about this before, but creating kind of the virtual team member that you wish you had. You're
Mm,
someone that can fill in the gaps in your thinking and just be that assistant for, maybe thinking through ideas, poking holes in things, research.
okay.
Let's see
Yeah.
where it takes us and we'll build it out. So let me share my screen.
Yeah. While you're doing that, I'll just kind of give you the thoughts that I had as you were describing that is what you're really looking to do is build a persona, right? And the way that I think about this is in your head, in your brain, when you're talking through a plan or trying to look at different scenarios of what can happen, you're talking multiple things. Like you're asking a question and answering your own question. And so the way that I like to view this is persona building. So what personality, what traits of this assistant or other thing, a person or AI assistant, do you want it to have? Right. And so that's where we'll probably start today is kind of figuring out what that other entity um, should have.
Yeah.
And so for you, actually, can you do me a favor real quick? Can you click on your name, bottom left hand corner?
Boom.
and then click on custom instructions. Okay. And blank. So this is perfect for today. And a little disappointed you don't have this, but really great that you don't have it for your audience and the
Sticking with it.
listeners.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, on
so
that, what? Yeah, just explain what this is first.
totally. So
I've heard about it, but yeah, I haven't I haven't done anything with it yet.
yeah, so for the viewers that are watching, you can see this, but for the listeners, um, what just happened is when you pull up your Chat GPT session, the bottom left-hand corner is your name. That opens up a little box that shows you a bunch of different buttons or areas that you can click on. What we just clicked on was called custom instructions. And what custom instructions does is it basically gives ChatGPT background information for it to use when interacting with you on every single chat,
Awesome.
as long as it's enabled. So in the bottom left-hand corner of this custom instruction box, you have enable for new chats. You can toggle that on or off. Sometimes I toggle it off, but I would say 90% of the time I leave it on. And in this box, you have two windows or two text boxes. The top box, TJ, this is you
Hmm.
or your business or your company or the role that you have, your professional role. You're telling ChatGPT, hey, this is who you're talking to. You're talking to me, and this is all about me. Or you're talking to my business, and this is all about my business. And then in the second box, that's how do you want ChatGPT to respond to you? Do you want it to be strict? Do you want it to be funny? Do you want it to be a thought partner? Do you want it to be strategic? Do you want it to be concise in answers? Do you want it to be long, elaborate answers? Like, how do you want it to respond? And so this section right here has just a multitude of capabilities. I mean, you can create these, personas. You can create these personas for your personal life. You can create them for your job role. You can create them for your entire business and then share them across all the people in your business so everybody gets a response from ChatGPT that fits your business's branding. So take branding standardization to the next level, right? And so this section, this is actually what we'll build out for you here today. Is we'll build you a custom instruction, um, and that'll work really well.
And can you
So,
create multiple personas within
well,
your account?
so of course you can create multiple personas, but in the custom instructions, it will only save one persona at a time.
You
I
can't toggle between different custom instructions.
No. And I actually tried that. I tried to put some rules-based stuff in there and have two personas and say, when I say persona one, use this persona. When I say persona two, use this one. And it it worked, but not fully, right? It still had both personas in the back of its mind, quotes, um and it didn't always stay in persona in the lane of persona 1 or the lane of persona 2. Sometimes they crossed each other, and so it didn't work exactly like that. Cool. So go ahead and hit cancel, and uh go ahead and in the chat box. So TJ, this is where, like, who are you right now? If you were to tell ChatGPT who you were, are you building your business self or are you building your personal self? And then within that, just start telling it about your business experience or your personal experience, whatever route you go. Just start telling about your experience, your strengths, your traits, your um sorry, I read your name and I had a thought. I call myself Mr. Orange.
Ah,
Um,
keep it anonymous.
a little anonymous, but also fun.
Yeah.
All the personas that I built have um, a clue character name. So
Okay.
Professor Plum, Colonel Mustard, Miss Scarlet, right? Like, and I ran out of clue characters, and so I'm Mr. Orange,
Dr. Doolittle.
Doctor Doolittle. And so as you kind of just describe, like really just pull out the key, highlight points. And, for the sake of time, we
Yeah.
won't go like super
Right.
in depth.
Yeah.
Yeah. But really, like, if you spend 30 minutes just writing your autobiography about your experience and exactly what you want to know and how you want someone else to understand it, that's the best that's the best option, right? Because then it'll fully grasp who you are and your skills and your experiences.
Hmm.
Man, I love doing this. So I do one-on-one training sessions like this where I walk people through this, and I love seeing how everyone types, and it's so fun because it gives me insight into how you think,
Yeah.
right? And I I think in like one sentence, and then everything else is bullet points. So if you want to be a little more organized or bullet pointed in your conversations here, holding shift and hitting enter just takes you to the next line,
Yeah.
right? And so I do that all the time with bullet points and separating paragraphs. And it also allows me to go back to each individual point or each individual section and expand on it later if I want to.
Yeah. I will do the same because within ChatGPT, you don't have all the formatting tools that you're used to in a typical Word document software. So the
Yeah.
shift enter is your next best thing.
Yep.
Um,
Oh, I think that's really good. So, for those of you that are listening, so I listen to a lot of podcasts, and as a listener, I don't ever watch. So I like to talk to the audience that's listening. So for those of you that listening, TJ is just kind of typing out his experience, kind of everything that I just mentioned before. But one thing that kind of stands out to me is he just wrote, "My life revolves around building more freedom in my life, designing my business around the lifestyle I want to live, and creating more time to do the things I love to do most with the people I care about." I mean, one, TJ, that's huge. Like, that's so awesome. What a great way to live your life. What a great way to kind of just be in this world. And that's very human. That's a very human thing to do, and I admire that. That's awesome. Secondly, that sentence right there is huge because that is going to give ChatGPT an idea, a really clear idea of who you are. And then for this purpose, who you are not.
mhm.
And that's what we want to do. So we're going to build you a persona that goes in the top box of custom instructions. But then we're going to ask ChatGPT, okay, analyze this person and find gaps and tell me what those gaps are that would balance this person out or provide the most support to this persona. And then that will be the persona that we put in the second box. Okay. So what you have here is you've gone through and you've kind of given it some information. We're a little truncated due to time,
Yep.
but your next, and this is important. This is where I come into play. So scroll down a little bit. Let's get to the bottom of that. So now what you just gave it is information. Okay. And I lost the words, but for formatting and structuring your input to ChatGPT, there's what my methodology is: four elements. There's four elements to a solid prompt. It's instruction. What do you want the thing to do?
Mhm.
Information. What information does it need to know in order to do the thing you want it to do? And then context. What other information, what other context can you give it that will support the information you already gave it and help it do the thing you want it to do? And then what's your end goal? Because your end goal right now may be different than what you actually want it to do at this exact moment.
Yeah.
So in this case, the instruction is build a persona based on this information. The end goal is we want two personas the persona based on this information, then an additional persona that fills the gaps and supports the first persona that we built so that we can embed both of those in the custom instructions, right? That's the end goal, which is different than your actual instruction right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you gave it was information, and then we can give it a little bit more context if we wanted to, right?
Yeah. Should I type that part into this?
So build a persona based on this information. Our end goal will be to create two personas
One for this person,
uh,
Dr. Doolittle.
and another for, I would say, and another as a, what do you want this one to be? Because this seems a little personal, telling what your life relies around. And I kind of missed the first few points that you put up there.
Yeah, so we kind of kept it. My name is Dr. Doolittle. I own a digital marketing agency. So I mean, this was nice and all, but for the sake of this exercise, maybe we just keep it business focused.
Okay.
What my business is, who we serve, what I'm an expert in, build a persona based on this, and then another as a, you said it perfectly. Like what's the
Yeah.
op fill in the gap.
Yeah. Um, as a strategist that can support the
Yeah.
first persona in areas where they may not be strong. And when you're done with that, I want you to go back up and fill out some traits. I want you to put some traits in there. So, a new line or somewhere where you feel like it's important, just go ahead and put, what your best traits are that you like. So you're professional, you're personable, you interact really well with other people and business owners. What are some other traits internally that you want this to know about you? And I'm also a proponent of throwing in a couple negative traits,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't I don't like to throw in a bunch of negative, but
Yeah.
I definitely want to balance the scales a little bit and say, you know what? I'm not good at this. I'm not great at, understanding what other people are saying or, like um just some, just some traits that might lean a little more on the negative side or too much of, or let's see, some negative traits I have are I'm not super analytical. So that's a gap, right? So it's going to identify these as gaps. I'm creative at times, but not in all areas. Oh, me neither, man. I am not good at design or creative writing, which is great. I mean, both those things are perfect for ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Okay. So build this persona based on this information. Our end goal is to create two personas. Yeah, let's send it and see what ChatGPT comes back with, right?
Yep.
And what we've done here, TJ, is you're working with ChatGPT 4, so the paid version, and what you're doing is you're telling ChatGPT to hone in its information that it's pulling from.
And so what it's doing right now, it's created the summary of my persona. It looks like it's added in some relevant information based on what I gave it. And it's also created persona number 2. So kind of quickly to summarize, Dr. Doolittle, the fictitious me that we created, expertise in SEO, advertising, branding. It's got the professional attributes that I had given it, but kind of elaborated on them a little bit. For example, kind and encouraging to colleagues and clients versus whatever more basic description I had given it. Has some personal traits, creative and specific aspects like SEO and brand strategy, prefers big picture thinking over detailed analytical tasks. I would say that's actually true.
Nice.
Enjoys leading and inspiring teams rather than delving into highly technical or design focused work. Definitely true. Goals to grow Height Digital Bend by enhancing its reputation nationwide, to continue providing exceptional service to small businesses in branding and marketing, stay ahead of the game in terms of changes in digital marketing, And then it's got those challenges, struggle
Yeah.
with deep analytical skills, and then the design and creative writing are not innate strengths. Interests, it kind of just took that very limited information and came up with some potential interests, which keeping up with the latest trends in digital marketing and SEO, check. Networking with other professionals in the industry, check. Engaging in community events and initiatives in Ben, absolutely check. So I'd say this looks pretty good for my persona.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and now persona number two is the strategist. So it's kind of already given this person a title, senior strategist at Height Digital Bend, and their expertise is going to be in data analysis and analytics, creative design, content strategy and creative writing, technical SEO, and detailed market research. Boom, that's
It,
awesome. Those are the things I need.
right? Like, isn't that crazy that based on your input, which really was not that much information,
At all.
right? And you're just what was it, 7 words or whatever of you saying, well, our main goal here is to build 2 personas, one out of the information I gave you and another that fills the gaps, that balances that one out. You didn't give it any other instruction on what to build here other than like your negative traits, right?
Mm.
So I guess if you would have filled in some more negative traits, its expertise would maybe be a little bit more broad. But I mean, this is the stuff that even using this every day and teaching people how to use this, to me, all of this is like, man, this is so cool. Like all of this is so fun.
I mean, we're going to use this as like a virtual assistant, but I'm already thinking like, hey, if you're a business owner and you're thinking, all right, I need to grow my team, I need to hire, like going through an
Hmm.
exercise with ChatGPT to identify what are some of the missing links in your team, like it just spat out everything you would need to put into a job description to go hire a real person, which I
Well,
think is pretty cool.
just a fun little anecdote and example here. One of my training clients works for a chamber of commerce, and so her profile's public. Like her experience, who she is, like what she does for chambers is public. So I actually, on a session with her, I went through and I said, go research this person and tell me who they are and their job. And then I went, kept going layers deeper. I said, create a job description for this person. If you were to replace this person, who would you want to hire and what is that job description? What is the experience that new person needs to have? And then what are some interview questions that we can ask this person to make sure they're the right fit?
Yeah,
Oh, and then what are answers to those interview questions so that we can role play and kind of have an idea of what we're looking for in an answer.
brilliant.
Like we went through the whole process
We
and it
could
was
do
just,
that like right now. If our goal was to hire somebody and create all of that, like we've already given it a
yep,
good chunk of what we're looking for. And what's interesting here, it's like even challenges that it anticipates this persona two might have in working with me may need to adjust to the more personable and optimistic culture fostered by Dr. Doolittle, balancing data-driven recommendations with creative and innovative marketing strategies. Like this is pretty solid overall. So
yep.
where should
Okay.
where should we take it next, Justin?
Yeah, perfect. So what we have here, TJ, is we actually have a pretty good outline of a couple different personas, and I don't think that it's relevant for the assistant persona for us to include the goals, or maybe it's relevant for us to include the goals. We'll see if we reach our limit. So each box in the custom instructions has a character limit of 1,500 characters total. And so if we have a little space, then we'll add some of these in here. But I don't think we need challenges and I don't think we need interests because
Okay.
it's not a real human, so it doesn't have those things. But personal attributes, traits, and goals, I think is highly relevant. And then obviously it's expertise,
Yeah.
right? So if you just copy from expertise to the end of goals, and then paste or yeah, copy that and then click on your name and then click custom instructions. And in the second box, this goes in the second box because this is the assistant.
Yeah.
So we do have some space. We have 600 characters left, roughly. But what I want you to do is I want you to click save, and we'll fill that space with some what I like to call rules of engagement.
Okay.
So how do you want it to respond? What tone of voice? What style? Right. So start thinking about those things. But while you're thinking about those things, let's copy your persona that it created and put that in the top box. I would include challenges. I mean, interests, that's totally up to you, space permitting, but definitely challenges, because for you as the human, if you identify those challenges to this machine, it's going to fill those gaps,
Hmm.
right?
Cool.
And with this one, you've used 868 characters, so there's a lot of space left. But what you can do is, if this, so this is the first round, right? This is the first iteration. If we get through this and you're like 2 weeks down the road and you're saying, man, it's not giving me the full answer that I'm looking for the first time or the second time. I'm having to go 5 layers deep to get the answer that I want. Then come in and adjust it, dude. I mean, you can adjust this. So you just ask it to elaborate on each point, copy your professional attributes and say, hey, give me more information about what these are. And then it'll give you more information. It'll really build them out more. And that just kind of fine tunes it more to give it that precise path that you want it to walk down when answering your questions or supporting you in your daily tasks, right? So right now I think we're good. So go ahead and click save. And now what we need to do is we need to verify. So this is huge. So go ahead and start a new chat. Go in top left corner, click Chat GPT. That's the new chat button. And just say, tell me about myself. And as my assistant, how can you help me?
Hmm.
And so what we're doing is we're verifying that, one, it does know you and knows you as well as you told it, or better. And then two, we're verifying how it can help you. And what this does is a couple things. It lets you know, okay, the system actually did what I wanted it to do. And then two, it gives you an idea of the ways that it can help you.
Awesome. So it did work. Won't read the whole thing, but as
Yeah.
Dr. Doolittle, you have a strong background in SEO, digital ads, brand building, social media. Your professional demeanor is both professional and personable, with a talent for networking and client relations, and it goes on. But then as we get down to the bottom, as your assistant, I can complement your skills by offering support in areas that are not your primary strengths. This includes data analysis and analytics, creative design and writing, technical SEO and market research, structured data-driven tasks. Awesome.
Yeah. So now you're set, right? And now what? Now what do you do with this thing? Well, now you interact with it. And every conversation that you have, every new conversation that you have is going to work with you and respond to you from this viewpoint of who you are and then how it can help you as your assistant. And so uploading PDFs of market research or having it go do market research for you is a thing that it does. I do that quite often, actually. Uploading CSV or Excel files that's just full of data, can help you with trend analysis, can help you with anomalies, like finding anomalies, or researching keywords, or finding new strategies built off of the data that you have. Here's all of our data for last month, and here's what happened. Help us find a new strategy to grow followers, to get more engagement, to tell our story better, or whatever. Whoever you're working for in the moment. Now it's just whatever questions you have, you can come to this thing, and it's your assistant now.
Yeah.
It's not
Man,
just a blank space, right?
game
Um,
changer for sure. So obviously we took a very simplistic approach here. I'm going to go back and get way more detailed and do this
yeah.
exercise on my own so that I can actually build really effective custom instructions for myself. And then that is something that now I can leverage for everything. And if it's
hmm
something where that piece of instruction isn't relevant, am I correct that we would just go in and toggle that off before starting a new thread, Justin?
Yeah, if you don't want it to respond, maybe you're doing a personal task like trip planning and you don't want it to have all this background information for it, then just toggle it off. Or
Okay.
or maybe you're meal planning,
Mhm.
because I use it for meal planning. It's awesome. Right. So if you're doing something that your custom instruction doesn't really pertain to, then toggle it off and you're totally good. And TJ, I think, before we wrap up, I know we're getting close to time here, but I would be really remiss, and I think the audience would be, maybe a little upset with me if I did not point out the custom GPT capabilities.
Yeah.
So, go ahead and click on Explore GPTs, and where this is going to take you into the GPT store that was just recently released. And this is, you see right there this week, Canva is featured. So Canva's GPT. If you have a Canva account, start using this thing. It connects to your account on Canva. I mean, it's crazy what you can
Have
come
you
up
played? I
with
use
here.
Canva. My whole team uses Canva all the time, and I did not even know this existed. So,
Your life and your team's life just changed, like,
nice.
drastically. I mean, the AI stuff that Canva's been implementing, and then now
Oh,
you
yeah.
I mean, everything that you do with ChatGPT, how deep you can go on topics and strategy and planning and research. Now you're interacting with Canva and ChatGPT.
Wow.
So just imagine that there. But really, where I wanted to take you was the top right, which is the create. You can create your own GPT. And so what I've done, and it's really easy. So in this box right here, this is called the create box. You just talk to it and say, well, I want to create a GPT that does XYZ. And you can do it. Or you can spend time in the normal chat GPT area and then create your persona, create whatever you want, and then come over and click into the configure box. If you want to click configure.
Yeah.
And in the configure box, you just drop your instructions of what that GPT is that you want it to do. And so what I've done here as my company, Niche Courses, Niche Agency, we have created a CMO GPT that's built on our branding, our guidelines, our logo, our color guide, our style, our mission, our vision, our values, our goals, just our entire business is built on all of that. And I created this GPT and I share it with our social media team. And I
Mm.
say, hey, when you create content, use this because it's already in my branding and my tone and what we want. And
Yeah.
they, right?
Brilliant.
It's
Yep.
already there. And they don't have to hop into a meeting with me. They don't have to hop onto Slack. They don't have to get on a call or Zoom or whatever and say, hey, what do we want to do for next month? Or what do we want to do for this week? Like, it's my CMO. Like, ask it the strategy, and it'll build all the strategy and then put it in a document and say, hey, does this sound right? Is this on message? Is this the direction that we want to go? If yes, done. Now it's going to make content based on that strategy. If not, then we do the human thing. Then we use our experience. Then we use our intelligence and we say, you know what? That's not the strategy. Let's adjust it this, and this. And then go back to it and say, okay, we've made these adjustments to the strategy, readjust, change. And it will change its strategy. It'll change its direction, right? But because I spent time. It took me about 2 to 3 hours to actually create this GPT because I went in depth. Um, but because I spent that time, now I don't have to sit in meetings. My social media team literally just sends me all the content that they get created, and I go through and say, yep, that's on brand, on message, good strategy. This is the strategy that we're going. Approve, 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 approve. Done. No meetings, no back and forth, no emails, no
Yeah.
Slack. I mean, it's it, it's awesome.
The
It's
total
so
game changer.
cool.
As a marketing agency, like creating a custom GPT for each of our clients and training it up on their brand, their goals, everything
Yes,
that makes them tick. That's what.
absolutely.
So,
And and honestly, and that you just touched on something. That's what I'm doing with my social media team is I'm teaching them how to do this so that they can go to their clients and say, hey, we need to create. It's not a want, it's a need. We need to create a custom GPT built about your business so that we can just create content for you and get it approved, and we don't have to sit in meetings. I mean, think about how much time you would save with your clients and how efficient you would be if you were able to just, all right, here's next month's content, here's our calendar, here's our plan, go approve it. And then you have one meeting to review, one meeting to talk about changes, one meeting to really jive and stay on the same page with each other, and then you're done.
Dude, this is awesome. There's so many things like we talked about earlier, like all this stuff has just been rolling out so rapidly. Someone like myself who I use ChatGPT every day, I did know this stuff existed, but I just hadn't even adopted it
Mm-hmm.
yet because there's so much, but it's not complicated, as you can see.
No.
Like creating one of these things, yeah, ideally you put the time in and do it right once so that now you're going to save exponentially more time down the road. But even
Mm-hmm.
so, it's not that much that it takes to build stuff like this out. And I would
No.
imagine, you could even use just the regular GPT thread and ask it like what should I include in my custom GPT? Here's what my goal is and what it's going to be about. Like what questions should I answer? And it'll give you that information so that you don't even have to guess. You can just go and fill that stuff in, copy and paste it into the GPT fields and save it, and you're off to the
Mm-hmm.
races.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so, kind of my last thoughts here before we kind of close up is, um, that's really the crux of it, is what you just mentioned is, it might take a little bit of time in the beginning, but the time saved on the back end of it is enormous. And that's really where we have to start changing our work routine. We have to start changing our perspective of how humans work. When do humans start working? And right now, for the last, I don't know, 100 or so years, our modern education system has been built to create intelligent workers. And we've done that. We've done that. We're all really intelligent workers compared to, previous, right? So, um, but now what? Now we've replaced our intelligence. So now where do humans come into play, right? Let the new era of intelligence create the beginning of every project, every task, create the first 80%, create the first 90% with this tool, and save your precious mental capacity, save your precious time for the last part, the part where you really polish it up and you take this thing that was 80% and now you made it 100%. Now you made it 120% of what it could have been or what it would have been if you spent all of your mental capacity building the first 80%. Because in business, we all know the 80-20 rule. Get 80% there and ship it.
Yeah.
That goes out the window right now. Use ChatGPT, use AI tools to create the first 80 to 90%. Save your intellect and your experience for the last 90 to 100 plus.
Yeah. And use, like you said, the limited resources that you have in terms of your capacity and time for the most high level, valuable pieces of the puzzle. If you can
Mm-hmm.
get 80% or 90% of the way there and use that precious time to polish it off and make it the best possible product, that's
Yep.
what more did you ask for? So
Right. And that's all we want as humans is we want really good products to use. So let's build them.
let's build it,
Let's
baby.
create.
So what's coming down? What predictions do you have? I mean, there's already
Whew.
so much changing, but like just this year, we're in 2024. Like, what predictions do you have for AI and advancements we'll maybe see in the next few months?
Next few months, I think we're going to see integration of text to video. Maybe not in the next couple months with ChatGPT, but there are some AI tools that are already text to video. They create short 30-second, they create a still image that they change and manipulate it to make it look like a video. But I really think that's going to be a big advancement is when we built into ChatGPT, when we get the ability to do text to video. I think that's going to be huge.
It's so cool.
And then probably closer towards the end of the year, we'll start seeing some more AI product based companies. There's already the Humane AI pen, which is built on GPT-4, and then there's Rabbit that came out, and then you have, AR and VR, mixed reality type stuff. I think we're really going to see a lot of physical products that are built on AI as the brain, and get away from iOS and Microsoft um, operating systems. So I think those are my two big things. We're gonna have text to video, and we're gonna have a lot of AI based products to play with.
Well, we'll see what happens, but those both seem like safe bets and are both things that I'm definitely excited about and to
Oh,
see.
me too. Yeah, absolutely.
Man, Justin, what advice would you give to a business owner who is listening in and wants to start building AI processes like we just looked at into their workflow?
Um, Really, just kind of one, start playing with it. Look at it. You dip your toe in or dive head first. Either way, um, don't be afraid of it. Right? It's still a machine. At the end of the day, it's still a machine. It's not human. I can't predict when that's going to happen. That's not my position. I'm not deep in AI in that area, in that realm. So, but what I do know is that this tool has saved me countless hours. It's saved my clients months of work. In one session, you know, we built 6 months worth of work.
Yeah.
So so that's where I would start, is really just start actually working with it, or use it, or just say hi, like, hey, how are you today?
Yeah.
I don't know how to use you, but soon I will, right? um and then I'll use this as a little shameless plug moment. I did release a course to take you from, beginner zero, I've not signed up for an account, all the way to more advanced maneuvers than what we did today. And so that course is nichecourses.ai, or nichecourses.com. Both will redirect to the same place. And niche is Neesh, a little play on words. And that really helps. That's a good place to start. And then I also do one-on-one and small group coaching and instruction. So these are all really great places to start and getting your feet wet into integrating AI into your business.
Amen, brother. And I would echo that, the key is to start playing around with it. Even if you're just having a conversation with it, have it help meal plan your next trip. Start with some personal stuff just to get a
Mm,
feel for the interface if that's easier and more comfortable for you. But from there, once you do kind of get some momentum and clarity on how it can be used, educating yourself, niche courses is phenomenal. You'll definitely walk away with so much value from that. So highly recommend, and we'll drop the link to that in the show notes so everybody can get plugged in and start learning. But man, Justin, I appreciate this. You already helped me create some things that are going to help me
yeah.
in my business, and we only spent an hour here talking through it, so I'll do my homework and make it even better. But appreciate your time. Where can people connect with you personally if they want to reach out and schedule one of those consultations?
Yeah, LinkedIn is probably the best place. Justin Coates. I think my tag on there is AI integrator.
Yep.
So look for that one, or my my contact us form on our website works as well. And then my email, Justin at niche agency, NEESHAGENCY.com, niche agency. And that's probably the best couple places to get a hold of me.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll drop links to everything in the show notes so people can find you. And
Easy.
dude, I'm always just blown away. You're so in the weeds with this stuff and learning so much, and just your ability to share that and articulate it in such an easy to understand way for people like myself who it's not a first language. I just commend you and appreciate all that you're doing to help people unlock new opportunity and ultimately newfound freedom. That's what this is all about. If you can save time, that's time that you could be spending with your family, working on areas of your business that you never had time to work on, whatever your heart desires. It's all about freedom at
Hmm.
the end of the day. And if you can use a tool like ChatGPT to unlock more of that, man, get after it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, TJ. it really is, one, thanks for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. And, I love your show and the guests that you have on it, just always providing tons of value. And on the note of time, like that's what we get when we start using our intelligence for us, for humans, we get more time. And the intelligent move here is to start integrating AI because you get more time. And just a fun little anecdote. ChatGPT, OpenAI, they have an iOS app, and you can take pictures and upload pictures to it. So I go into the gym. My wife and I work out together, but in separate areas. I do weightlifting. She does the cycling, and I'll go in, and some days I'm like, man, I don't know what I want to do today. So I'll take a picture of the gym in ChatGPT. I'll open up ChatGPT. I'll take a picture of the gym and I'll say, build me a 20-minute workout that's medium intensity, and I'm 36. I'm fit, but not that fit. I don't do cardio very much, so don't kill me.
Yep.
And man, it goes through and it looks at all of the equipment that I have available to me, and it says, here's your workout. And they've been some good workouts, dude.
Man, that's so creative. See, I love that when you can combine just the creativity of the human element and use this tool. Like there's so
Yeah.
much that you could do with this. It's infinite.
It's incredible. It's so much fun.
I love it. Well, to be continued. We'll definitely be getting you back on to talk shop here. There's going to be a whole host of changes, I'm sure, in the next few months. So we'll have plenty
Mhm.
more to talk about. Thanks.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, TJ. This was amazing.
To all of our Adventurous listeners, thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Please be sure to subscribe, download, and share this on social media or with someone you know will get some value from it. Leaving a review goes a long way in helping people find the show, and I personally appreciate reading them when they come in. So please go drop one if you have the time. We'll see you all next week, and remember, whether we're talking about business or the things that bring us joy outside of work, life is meant for exploring. So go out there and live it one adventure at a time.